Have you ever thought about how wonderful it is when the fall season really truly feels like it has started? Because that's officially happened where I live. We finally have some good weather. It's actually nice outside for once. It's not scorching hot. It is absolutely wonderful and lovely. Hello everybody, this is That Manga Dude, and welcome to another good old-fashioned FVI. This is the show on my channel where I talk about new volumes, specifically volume 1s or one-shots that are coming out or have come out this past month, and give you my more full review than I typically do for a reading log. So there are 3 very good volumes that I'm going to be talking about today, and it's going to be a grand old time. So I hope you stick around and watch all this video and have a great time. Yeah, let's get started right now. Okay, so the first volume, originally this manga started in November 13th, 2014 on Kudafune, or in Kudafune Momo, I believe is how you pronounce it, and that is going to be Otonari Complex from Saku Nonomura from Seven Seas. So, let's talk about who worked on this first. We have translation from Jenny McCann, or McCann, I think is how you pronounce it. Adaptation from Carly Smith. Lettering from Aidan Clark. Original cover design from Chihiro Nagayama, also known as Bal Colony. It was in parentheses in this volume. Logo design from Mario Daga. Cover design from H. Chi. Copy editor B. Lillian Martin. Proofreader Elliot Santamore, I believe, yes. And production designer Stevie Wilson. And editor is Christina Corpus. Ooh, there's a lot of people who worked on this, but a lot of great people worked on this, so that's awesome. Now let's talk about this cover and spine. I love this like salmon pink color that they chose for the cover. It looks great. I love it a lot. The logo is fun. The characters are having a great time just on the front cover with some fun stuff just in general, hinting at what's going to be going on, which is always a cool little cover. All of the other characters, you get to see them in full color, which is really neat. Overall, yeah, I think this is a pretty solid cover and spine. I just really like this color. I think it's what makes it really stand out. Now, let's go into our characters. We have 2 characters. They're going to be the 2 characters right here. I'm going to be talking about Kuji Akira first. And this is the handsome female lead. She is sporty and often mistaken for a man. She's a little dense. She's has like kind of a hard time being able to truly express her feelings, even with her closest friends. But she is a really fun character to root for in the series. She's funny, observant, and very kind, but does struggle with more feminine products and clothing because she does not feel feminine enough for them. They definitely go into it within this first volume, like some of the stuff, and you have some scenarios where that is shown. And yeah, I just really like her character. It's written really well. It feels very believable, and I'm really excited to see where her character grows as we move out through the series. Now, coming into our other character, we have ourselves Ninomiya Makoto. He is the pretty male lead. He cross-dresses because his sister liked to make him dress up as a kid, and now he's comfortable dressing in both male and female coded clothing. He has a hot temper and is fiercely defensive of Akira, often to a fault, which is actually really funny. Happens throughout the series pretty often, or at least throughout the first volume pretty often. I don't know, I like him. I don't know how much his character is going to grow per se, but I am interested to see what his character is going to do and be as we move throughout this series, because I don't know, I think it's interesting. Like, they're like complete opposites of one another, and it just works. Good childhood friend tropes going on right here. Going into the story, we have Akira and Makoto are often mistaken for the other's gender, and they've been totally okay with that fact, or so they thought. As other characters begin to crush on the main characters, how will their perceptions of themselves and each other change? It's a pretty fun rom-com, to be completely honest, with some solid writing and good story progression, even in the first volume. I know reading like the last, reading the part where the author is talking about the thing, they said that this goes pretty slow, but in my opinion, I feel like it's really already moving at a fairly quick pace. Like, we got already some huge developments between the 2 characters, even with like behind their childhood relationship as well as their current relationship and how that is going to grow / change. I don't know, I'm just kind of curious as to how it's going to evolve as we proceed throughout the story. Are they going to end up together? Are they going to do something else? I'm not too sure, to be completely honest. I think I see where it's going to be leaning towards, but I'd be surprised if it changes up, and that'd be kind of cool. So overall, I think the writing's pretty solid. The comedy is there. The dramatic moments are spot on, and I think really well thought out and written. And yeah, just overall, it was a pretty good first volume in terms of the writing. Now, in terms of the art, I think the art's pretty solid. There's some good character designs, mixed with some smooth paneling. It's a very light and like easy read. There's some really funny faces throughout. I really like the simplified faces that they use throughout the volume, and just overall, I think it's a very, very solid rom-com. It's enjoyable from front to back. It's just a fun little time, and it also tackles some pretty interesting things about like handsome women and like pretty men, or however you want to see it, like people who are male coded and female coded, and how those things can really affect a person's like personality, psyche, and just their overall confidence in themselves. So I think it's a really great, has some really great moments in there for those specific reasons. So I would highly suggest checking this out if you're a big fan of rom-coms. Alrighty, our second volume, originally released in Shogakukan's Big Comic Superior, which is a seinen magazine, in December of 2020. It has got a story from Ichiro Inagaki and art from Ryoichi Ikegami, and that is going to be Trillion Game Volume 1. Yeah, let's get into really quick the translation and other things that people have worked on the English side. We have ourselves translation from Stephen Paul, touch-up art and lettering from Joanna Estep, design from Jimmy Pressler, and editor is Julia Walchuk. Let's talk about this really sick cover. I love it a lot. It's very exciting. I love like the gold that they use. The font that they use for Trillion Game looks really awesome as well. I like how like the gold like touch just like, I don't know, it really helps to pop out like everything. I love the character in the background. This has got like a really cool design. I love the coloring on it. I love the black, and I love this Art Deco design that they kind of use throughout. It just looks super flippin' cool. Kind of like, it looks like a trading card game, or it kind of looks like a trading card slash like a deck of cards, which is pretty cool. And then just overall, I don't know, it looks really sleek. And not to mention, what a combination between the two. So we have Riichiro Inagaki, who is the writer of Dr. Stone and Ice Shield 21, which is really flippin' cool. I love Ice Shield 21. It's a really great series, and I think it's awesome. And then we got Ryoichi Ikegami, who is a staple of manga at this point. He's done Sanctuary and some various other series that happen to have like more of like a realistic style. Crying Freeman and Heat as well. Yeah, so this is like a super group, if you could call it that, for mangaka. It's awesome. Now, coming into our characters, we have two of them. I'm going to be talking about Haru, who's this guy here, and Gaku, who's that guy there. So let me start with Haru. So he is the super handsome type A go-getter that has fantastic communication skills and not much else. He's extremely manipulative, but super smart and good at getting what he wants. He's super bold, and he's one of those characters you just kind of love to hate, and also root for at the same time. Like, he's one of those, like, he's just obnoxiously good at what he does, and he's not afraid to show it. But I think he's also just like the way, like I said, he's very smart, but smart in a way that like he knows how to communicate. He knows how to get people to do what he wants them to do. So he's just a really interesting character, especially because of where the series starts, which I'll get into with the story. Now we're talking about the complete opposite. We have ourselves Gaku. He is the quiet type B computer whiz who is the brains behind the main duo. He's really good with computers and consistently focusing on trying his best. And he's not as charming as Haru, but he's still super easy to root for. Honestly, he's the character you tend to like more just because he's like not a jerk. Like he's just constantly aiming to be the best, but not necessarily trying to pull others down with him. So overall, I like their duo. I like their dynamic. It's very interesting just to see, especially within the story, which I'm going to get into in just a little bit. But overall, the two main characters are awesome, and the side characters as well are very, very interesting to see. I don't know. It's like they've already built a very strong set of characters within the first volume. Now going into the story, so Haru and Gaku meet each other after a fight goes wrong in the streets between Haru and a bunch of thugs. Gaku helps get rid of the evidence that the fight occurred, and the two form an unlikely friendship that will lead them to the world of the high class. I think what's really interesting about this story specifically is that we actually start with us knowing what the series is going to end up like. These guys are going to become super rich. It's within the first couple pages, so it's not really a spoiler. But yeah, these guys are going to be super rich, so it's kind of about their story of how they became that rich. So it's a pretty interesting premise. It's got some really funny moments, which is a staple of Inagaki. Inagaki's really good at writing some very serious moments mixed in with some great comedic moments, especially in Ice Shield 21. I can't say for Dr. Stone, but I've seen a lot of Dr. Stone screenshots and various other things, and there have been some pretty intense moments, but also seems to be a lot of comedic moments as well. So definitely Inagaki is in his bag with this one. He's very, very smart, and the writing is hilarious. So, you know, kudos. It's a great story. I'm very excited to read the next one. Now, in terms of the art, this is just a personal gripe for me specifically, but I find Ikigami's art to be very hit or miss. Sometimes it looks really wonderful, like there's some great character posing, there's some just really strong modeling across the board, some really great faces, but other times there's just some very awkward facial expressions. Some of the perspective is a little off, a little wonky, so it's, I don't know, it's like kind of weird coming from like an art background and reading this kind of stuff and like seeing this kind of art style. Like you'll get some like really great moments, like I said, like this like rendering looks really, really nice. There's some great character designs, like some great shading and stuff like that, but then other times it's just like some really strange, just odd faces and just looks a little too realistic. It kind of leans into the uncanny valley, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically the idea that something looks so realistic that it doesn't feel real, where it's like it's not real but it feels real, so it gives you like kind of like the ick. It makes you feel a little uncomfortable, a little bit awkward. A lot of people point to the Polar Express as being that, so that I think this series tends to lean into that sometimes. But overall, I thought Trillion Game was really cool. I like the writing a lot. The writing and the characters are my favorite parts about this. The art, like I said, it can be really great and also can be really weird. So overall, really like this volume, and I cannot wait to read the next one. Alright, coming into the final volume, this originally released in Shueisha's shoujo magazine, Reborn, back in April of 1998, and we have officially got it in English as of this month, and that is going to be Last Quarter from Ai Yazawa. So the people who worked on this, we have ourselves translation from Max Greenway, we have touch-up art and lettering from Inori Fukuda Trant, design from Yukiko Whitley, and editor is Nancy Thistlethwaite. Thistlethwaite. It's a hard one for me to say. I don't know, I got like the sound. Struggling with that. Anyways, let's talk about this cover. It is absolutely gorgeous. I love the colors that they use. I love the rendering of the face on the front of one of the main characters. I love like just like kind of like the mix of colors that we have. Kind of feels like we're dreaming, which is a big part of this series, and I will talk about that when we get there. But I really enjoy this. It looks fantastic. Coming into our characters, we have two characters I'm going to be talking about. We have ourselves Mizuki, who is the character on the front here. She is one of the main female leads, the girl who's really struggling with her new relationship with her stepmother and sister, and she's really trying to discover herself within the first chapter of the series. And we get to see how her character is affected by the people around her, especially within the first chapter. We get a lot of like context about what is going on or what is going to happen throughout this series. As much as I can tell you without spoiling it, yeah. Let's keep going. We have ourselves Hotaru, which she's actually not on the front cover. I can find a page with her on it. She's adorable. There she is. So yeah, she's crying, so kind of ignore that she's crying. But basically, she's a young girl who is the other female lead of the series. She meets Mizuki in what appears to be a dream. She's bold and stands up for what's right, and that's what makes her like makes her look like a weirdo in other people's eyes. I like her character a lot. Aizawa is really fantastic at writing strong female characters, regardless of age. Some of them are younger, some of them are older. I believe she's in elementary school, so I don't know. I really like the characters a lot, especially the side characters as well, as we meet this other group with, it's like Hotaru's friends. Like I said, I don't want to spoil too much, but yeah, I really like their friend group and their friend dynamic, and I just like the overall writing in general. Coming into the story, so there's a lot to tackle. I'm going to try to avoid spoilers as much as possible. I know I keep saying that, but that's because there's just a lot that can go into this. This is a really solid mystery series. So after Mizuki meets a man named Adam playing the guitar on the side of the road, a relationship blossoms that leads her to an ultimatum. As she is going to meet this boy one fateful night, she appears to be hit by a vehicle. We then change perspectives to a young girl who has just awakened from what appears to be a coma. Who was the mysterious lady that Hotaru saw in her dreams? She aims to find out after she meets an apparition that looks just like Mizuki in an abandoned home. It's a really fantastic mystery drama series that I loved it so much. I think the writing is spot on. There's so many really great moments between the characters, between just like the story in general. The monologues are great. I think there's just a lot of heart to put into it. The mystery is super strong. Like, I was genuinely surprised by a lot of the twists that happened throughout. Not expecting anything, and I wasn't sure what I was expecting. But yeah, overall, the story was so strong. I loved it so much, and I'm super excited to keep reading this one. I'm just like, I genuinely don't know where the story's gonna go, and I kind of love it for that. So really excited to get into more of this series. And coming into the art, typical Ayazawa masterpiece, fun and distinct character designs with lovely backgrounds and paneling. It makes for one of the best looking manga to release in just the past few months in English print. A lot of beautiful moments, a lot of quieter moments are mixed in with some great comedic moments. The characters all look great. I love the animal design. Well, one animal design is just the cats. Like I said, the paneling is really solid as well. So overall, this was just a remarkable release, and I'm super excited that we got another Ayazawa work out. I've been reading through Neighborhood Story and have been loving it, and this one is just as fantastic. I have been holding off on Nana, but I will be probably reading it very soon. Alright, it's everyone's favorite part where I get to rank all of these series by how much I like them and dislike them. So, if you couldn't tell by how I commented on them, Last Quarter is going to be my favorite, and I think I'm going to put it like this. Last Quarter, Otonari Complex, Trillion Game. I think Otonari Complex just pushes out Trillion Game just because of the sole fact that Trillion Game just had some weird spots in the art. But overall, Otonari Complex was really solid. It has some just like very good across the board, and Last Quarter is just fantastic. It's super good. Yeah, this is my ranking for the reading, or for the new reads of September 2024. There were obviously a few volumes that I wish I had been able to get in time, but I just couldn't find them. So I will definitely be picking those up and hopefully reading them soon. But what do you think of these 3 volumes? Have you read them? Have you checked them out? Are you interested in reading them now? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know what you guys feel about these series, because yeah, they're all new and it's going to be a good time when people are talking about them. But yeah, you know what to do. You can like, you can comment, you can subscribe. Those are all amazing things. I really appreciate it when everybody does that kind of stuff. It just means a lot. We're getting ever closer to my goal of 4,000 subscribers, which is just mind-boggling to say out loud. So thank you so much for all the support. And if you want to join my membership, you can get videos early like this one. You can get them whenever I decide to film them, usually within the week, as well as some extra videos just for members as well, depending on which membership tier you choose. You don't have to do that, but it's super awesome if you do. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this FVI. I will see you in the next video.